Do you have that printed out copy?
I have one. I can just look on the computer.
Yeah. So the first question I had was on the following school policy and procedures. Just specifically the policy or procedure that was not followed, or where that's listed at. Hey, Patty.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Are you really sorry?
Yeah.
Is that a full bottle of water?
Yeah, you want it?
No, I just wanted to make sure.
It is. Those are all full. No. No. No, that one's full. Thank you. That would be with Hannah mostly. That some of the stuff with the scheduling, and that sort of stuff.
I guess what I'm looking for is like the specific policy that's written that I didn't, or that I broke.
That's what it is.
So or can you show me that policy where it's written and what specifically I did?
And it wasn't broke, it's just unsatisfactory, and that's kind of the stuff that we talked about. I'm gonna have to look for my handbook and look through it.
Okay. Because to me, this is saying that, I didn't follow certain policies and procedures, which I would like to see what those are, and then the specific action that I did that.
Well, those
I
are the
didn't
actions,
follow.
it's the,
So what is it specifically though? Like when I didn't agree with how Hannah was operating outside of her scope of practice?
she's number one, she isn't. She has final say over everything. Black and white, she has final say.
When she can claim that a medicine lasts longer in the body than it
It's-
does?
We
That's
just
proven data.
She has final say over everything, black and white. It's her call.
And was that established going into this season? Was there somewhere I can see that?
Yeah, it is actually.
Well,
She has a policy.
That's what I'm asking for,
Yeah,
just to review that.
yeah. I can get to. There is a policy that she has final say.
And so then, what would be me questioning how that went down? That's breaking a policy, just wanting to, I've never even seen it.
Well, and I mean, I know that I had said that Hannah has final say.
Right. And prior to that meeting, and this is another thing that we'll talk about, is when I talked to Kevin, who I can contact, he's my contact, the High School Activity Association, that's not what was said. He said if a doctor gives a kid a note that says they're clear, they're clear. They don't need any other
Our policy,
information.
Northern Cass.
So that's what I would have liked to see a long time ago. I've never been shown any kind of policy when we were going through the skin stuff about, what I was told is that if they go see Hannah first, then she's kind of manages it.
Yep.
And for the couple of kids that were in question,
Yeah.
They didn't go to her originally.
And
She kind of just inserted herself
Yeah.
as we went on.
and she has ability to override anybody. We're not even gonna, anybody with skin stuff, they can go and they should go and get it cultured and we'll isolate them from practice.
Yeah.
But anything else, they need to go to Hannah. I mean, even if they went to a different doctor and that doctor said, they're clear, whatever, and Hannah doesn't think that is the right, she
Don't they have
overrides.
the option to go see Hannah?
No, we're partnered with Essentia. That's what kind of the information that we just got is that.
So this is
She
new
has-
information though. This wasn't, you didn't establish all this
But I'd
this
already
year.
told you that Hannah has overriding.
If she sees, if them
Yeah,
first,
that's kind of
is what
what-
I was told.
Yeah.
And neither
which-
of those kids this year went to Hannah first, is what I'm saying. Gage went to his own doctor, Will went to his own doctor.
Mhm.
So at the time, that's not how we were operating, right?
Okay. Well, yeah, no, and then also with the schedules, like I set the schedules, and I'm willing to listen,
Right.
We went from 1 to 2, and when I would share out information, it was always like, we need to find somebody else. I don't want to, I just never felt like it was good enough, even though it's always that page has always been shared with you to look at.
So, is this in regards to reaching out to teams to schedule? When we were asked to
No.
contact them, or what do you mean?
No, like, working on different dates and to, call, working on different dates and well, you don't wanna wrestle this date, you don't wanna wrestle that date. Sometimes
It was a Saturday and a Monday.
yeah,
You talk about asking other teams how they operate. Nobody wrestles
they
Monday
do
or
actually,
Saturday duels.
I did ask that, they
Well,
do. Yeah, I've asked.
It's standard. I even talking to Dr. Steiner this last year. He said, "Oh yeah, ever since I was even at DLB, it's always Tuesday, Thursday duels."
Yeah, well, how come teams came to
And
wrestle us?
the reason they canceled on the Saturday is because they were already going to rugby tournament. Pembina County. I know they go to rugby tournament.
We were gonna wrestle their younger kids. Their wrestling coach is one of my
I
best
know
friends.
that. I know that.
So,
But that's why they couldn't come, because they went to rugby tournament.
that's not the
'Cause it
only
was a
reason they
Saturday.
couldn't come. Okay, I'm not gonna argue with you, Gabe. We have talked and met. This is it needs to be signed, or we're gonna look for a different coach. That's how it's gonna be. Okay.
I'd like to go on to the next, where's that other page? Where it says there will be no more circumventing Mr. Laxon and Dr. Steiner.
Yep.
Example of when I circumvented.
That's talking to like the West Fargo
Okay.
coach.
I look back at that. So I reached out to him to schedule like he asked me to find somebody, right? And then when we had the skin stuff going on, I felt obligated to let him know what was going on if he's bringing his
I
guys in.
understand that. We've also had
So I
the
did that.
same conversation 3 times. We talked on the phone.
And what
that
happened was
night.
he texted me. I didn't call him and say, "Hey, we're canceling." I looked back. He texted me and said, "We're deciding not to come," or something along those lines. I didn't call him and say, "Hey, are you coming?" or "We're canceling." I didn't do that.
Okay, that's the first time you've told me that.
So, well, I look back on it because I just found out about it today that was a big issue. Another time when I've circumvented.
When we've talked about going to the school board.
I told you the 2 times I've
Yep,
contacted the
and
school board.
again, today, that's the first time that you did.
Okay.
Um,
And in
going
both of those
around talking
situations, I'll go back to that. I look back at the emails when I wasn't going to be paid.
we were never not gonna pay you.
You and Corey were both in those emails, and Corey had said, I talked to Bryce and Paige or Bryce will reach out with further details.
Yeah.
Paige emails me and says, looking back at the meeting minutes from 2021, we had written down that you were going to volunteer, and that's kind of where it ended.
And then we went in, Corey and I went in and talked.
But
and
that's
said
the
we're going
last
to pay.
email I had from her, and it gave the impression that you're volunteering. So that's when I had called Brad, because I talked to you then, you were included in the emails, and Steiner was in the emails. There was no circumventing.
Okay.
Another time where I circumvented?
Well, when you called Kevin and you printed off all of the procedures, which is fine, but then you went to Hannah and you told her those procedures, and then when Hannah followed those procedures, you called Kevin back.
What procedures?
Like the return to play with open lesions and I think it was on Gabe, or it must have been Gabe or Will, one of those two.
Gauge you will. I called Kevin probably 15, 20 times throughout the year.
Yeah.
And I called him right away when we found out what we were dealing with, just to get information of how this is handled. He sent me some links of things to do throughout the year, like these guys probably need to be on.
And that's another problem. You called him instead of calling us at the school.
We had
no
talked about it,
idea.
and you guys told me Hannah has final say unless they go to their doctor first. And that's not what Kevin had told me.
But he doesn't. He's following this Northern Cass has a different policy than that. The high school activities, the school can have separate policies.
Right.
Yeah.
But the policy of what you told me at the time, we were following. If they go to their doctor first, that's who makes the decisions. And both of those two did. That's who was in question. So I don't know, the circumventing, I don't see that has happened.
Okay.
And the issues I have, typically it's, say it's with Hannah, we talk, she tells me what she thinks, and then I talk to you, Steiner, school board. I've never gone out of that order that I can remember.
Okay.
So I don't really agree with that bullet point. This one here about going to the board, state, contacting their schools.
Yep.
The time I did that about the eligibility, that was 2 years ago. And I never tried to contact the president again. But at that time, I was interested on what was said, because from our school standpoint, it was portrayed to me that you had contacted the High School Activity Association and told them that we knowingly wrestled a kid that was ineligible. And that wasn't true, because I didn't know, and I wouldn't have wrestled them. So that's the only time I went to the board of the person that I can't contact. Otherwise, I can go to Kevin, ask him questions. He's my contact guy.
Yeah.
So this whole bullet point, the second bullet point, I don't agree with that.
Okay. I mean, I do.
We just went through the list, and you kind of agreed that I hadn't circumvented on those options. Anytime I have questions, it goes through this chain that you're laying out. And then the other one, so compromising on schedule, we kind of talked about that, but I would like that to read a little bit more clear. That's pretty vague. So compromising, if that means
We really haven't compromised at all. I just did exactly what you wanted.
2 days. Last year we had our duel on a Monday. We were gonna have the other one on a Saturday.
When there
That's
was
a compromise. And then this one about cash boxes.
Yep, that was from, you had been asking Patty to
Yeah, I'll
get the cash
clarify that.
boxes. and
So what
just
happened
using it
was-
through Paige.
I was
Or
at
myself.
parent teachers conferences, I believe, and Patty came up to me and said, "Do you want me to get cash boxes from Paige?" I said, "Sure," and that was it.
And Patty's gonna be gone next year, so that
Oh.
was,
And I didn't go to Patty and say, "Hey, could you get cash boxes
Yeah.
for us?"
Yeah.
She just volunteered, so I said, "Okay." This is the first time I'm seeing anything about that. So what's expected there? That I just come to Paige?
Yep.
Okay. The maintenance thing, I don't know about repair form or,
that would be just like if you have another problem with like like a heater or you want something like that, there's a repair form.
so if that's this situation, we go straight to Steve, we don't,
No,
Talk to
there's
you?
there's a form. You can go on there and then Dr. Steiner will get the form too.
Hmm.
But you can talk to me too, but that's the correct
okay, that's on the website.
website, or there's the like QR codes around the school or I can, yeah.
Who reviews this? Or this is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as this is, I'm not gonna sign this as this is laid out. I don't know if that's the end, but these ones that talks about me circumventing, I don't agree that that happened. And we kind of went through those about the chain of command I did follow. And then I'd like to see the policy specifically, and those procedures that were not followed.
Thank you.
That's it?
Yep.